Joining us now is co-coach of Sundowns, Rulani Mokwena. A very good evening, and firstly, congratulations.
Good evening to you, Valen, and good evening to your viewers. Thank you so much for the warm words of congratulations, and thank you for having me.
Did you think it would be wrapped up with 4 matches still to play?
No chance. It was a difficult season from the word go, very, very difficult. And the fact that we had won it last season made it even more difficult because it put a marker on our backs. But the players responded well to the pressure, and we tried to get as many points in the first round as we possibly could, because we anticipated a very difficult second round where the pressure would really be mounted on the one table on top, the other table at the bottom, and then that mid-table for the top 8 positions. So we did very well in the early parts of the season, and I think that helped us to get to where we are currently.
What is the goal now with just 4 matches to go? Obviously, there's another cup to still play for, the Nedbank Cup semi-final coming up on Saturday. So there's still another trophy to play for. But what do you want to get, and what does the coaching staff want to get from the next 4 matches?
Look, we want to win all the matches. We want to win all 4 matches. We know it's going to be very difficult, but at Sundowns, we are in that space where we compete for every tournament, every match, and we don't believe in dead rubbers. So the responsibility is going to be the same. Go out there and try and win the matches and represent the institution as best as you can, represent your people, the supporters, as best as you can, and try to do due diligence to the club, you know.
Has there been any talk from the forwards to try and assist Peter Shalulile as best as they can for him to break Collins and Basuma's record?
Look, we always try to help. I mean, part of helping that is ensuring that the team performs well. And when the team can perform well, that's the best sort of contribution we can all make, us as coaches, in assisting the preparation, the players in participating in the performance, and making sure that the standards are extremely high. And then, of course, ultimately that will help us to create a lot of chances, win more games, and hopefully that means that Peter is able to get on a couple of those opportunities that we create, and is then able to get closer and closer to that record.
There is certainly a culture of success at Mamelodi Sundowns. A dozen of titles in the PSL era. It's unprecedented. 5 titles on the trot, wrapping it up with 4 games still to play in the league, something we haven't seen for over 10 years now. So it's quite incredible what you guys have been able to do. However, that quarterfinal defeat has to be quite difficult, even in this season of success.
Yeah, of course, but it's also a quiet and gentle reminder, quite painful, and sometimes that's even the most painful exercises, like giving birth, give new meaning, and with the pain comes lessons. So quietly we took it. We had 24 hours to get over it and try to focus on what was a very important match against Cape Town City, which we feel we did our best and tried our level best to put a very good performance and try to win a match against a very rejuvenated and fired up Cape Town City side. But yeah, of course we take it, and we've lost the game, but many lessons were taken from that, and hopefully we go again next season in a very difficult competition where absolutely nobody on the continent has any form of right to win it. Winning the Champions League means blood, sweat and tears, and then maybe in certain moments a little bit of luck, you know. So we lacked that in certain moments. I mean, that moment in Angola where VAR counted against us is a moment where we lacked a bit of luck. And in South Africa, some of the chances that we created was incredible. And then when you lack luck, and maybe in certain moments in the first leg we had bad luck. So you have bad luck, and then you lack a bit of luck, and it's a bit difficult. But we'll go again next season and try our best to make amends for this season's knockout exit.
So, Coach, I'm going to use your analogy here on birth pains. There's been a couple of birth pains when it comes to a CAF Champions League, a quarterfinal exit, because it's happened in the last 3 seasons. What's been the main lesson to ensure that it doesn't happen next season? Because, as we heard one of your former legends of the club say, winning the DSTV Premiership or the South African Premiership is par for the course for a team like Mamelodi Sundowns. You guys want to lift that CAF Champions League trophy again.
Yeah, but I always say to people, and including the legends, we've got to be very careful of that, because PSG also have some form of acknowledgement that they should win the title in France every season, and they don't. Man United a couple of years ago were dominating the English Premier League, and now are struggling even to get into the top 4. So there's absolutely no right given to any team, and we can even think of where we come from as Mamelodi Sundowns in the past as a club. And in that space, you can see where the club has developed into a gigantic brand that is on the forefront of a football mini revolution, if you like. And that's the reality. But at the same time, the results are earned on the pitch, and that's the work we have to try to do. It's the same thing with the lessons for the Champions League, some painful lessons, but some important lessons. And we continue to work with a lot of perseverance, a lot of this selflessness and that pick-me-up sort of attitude. And once we can do that, I think we can get ourselves into a very good position. A lot of the players that won the league title with us this year were winning it for the first time. And that, let alone the enormous challenge of competing and winning the Champions League. So that should tell you the task that is at hand for us at the moment. But we're not complaining. We take it on the chin and we move, and we try and do better next time.
You mentioned VAR on the continent. How eager are you to see the technology being used in the DSTV Premiership and just within our domestic league here in South Africa?
Yeah, well, I've got two ways of answering that. I would say that maybe the first emergency for me in South African football is the state of the pitches. I think if we are to really improve South African football before we even think about VAR, I think we've got to look a little bit closer at the standard and the quality of the playing surface. That's going to increase the quality and the standard of the football in our country, and especially because we've got more of a technical application sort of style that suits our players in demonstrating their relationship with the ball. But you need very good playing facilities and turfs to be able to see a game of football that's got good intensity, good technical skills, without any form of interruptions. But at the same time, if you were to persist and ask me about VAR, I would then also comment by saying that if the experience that we had both in Angola and at the FNB Stadium is anything to go by, then I'm not so sure I get a lot of motivation about hearing the recommendations of it coming to the PSL. But you never know. Maybe with improved standards and maybe with improved production quality in relation to supplying more camera angles to the fields and pitches to increase the level of correctness of VAR interventions, then I think maybe you could have some form of point in trying to get it into the country. But up until then, I think it's something that we've got to work very, very hard on to incorporate into our league.
What are your expectations for Saturday? It's, of course, a big match, semi-final, against a team that have been hugely impressive in what has been a debut season in the DSTV Premiership.
Yeah, we anticipate a very tough game. John Matuka has got a very, very strong side with him. He's had this team since they were together with Bloemfontein Celtics, and they've continued to work together and maybe even give some form of stability from a club perspective with Royal AM. And we all know the unfortunate circumstances that Celtics were under with pretty much the same players, the one or two changes, goalkeeper, but you still have a Rekotso, Lingwati at centre half, and Manganyu, who's Royal Eagles. But then you've also got Mashikinya, Palane in midfield as possibilities, although they still blame Somi as their sixth and Kabelo Mahlasela, who was at Polokwane City and Kaizer Chiefs, and we know his qualities, also his ability to break the lines, to infuse intensity in the attack and give possibilities for late runs behind the fullbacks. And then they've got very experienced fullbacks in Matlaba on the left. You know, Matlaba, his profile speaks for itself, and the successes that he's had. And then, of course, on the other side, Mukhaila, who was at Highlands Park, also huge experience, but then a very dangerous front three of Mabena, Letswalo, Matupu says to you, they've got goals behind the defensive line, they've got goals in front of the defensive line. And they've also got possibilities to dribble, to execute moments of brilliance, to try to influence the result. So, yeah, it will be a very difficult game for us, but hopefully one that we'll be able to win.
We've seen other teams try what Mamelodi Sundowns have done with more than one head coach, and it was Mamelodi Sundowns that really broke the mold. You speak about starting a football revolution. Certainly the way that a technical team is structured is something new that Mamelodi Sundowns brought to South African football, but you've really been the only club that has actually gotten it right. Can you explain how you guys manage that in such a successful team where I'm sure there are a lot of big personalities?
Yeah, well, but the reality is at the forefront is the club. The interests of the club outweigh and are far more important than any individual interest. So the most important thing for us is to make sure that we put the club first and the interest of the club first. We respect the vision and the objectives that the club sets out, and then hopefully once you have that, there's no possibilities of having egos. You know, if the reasoning is about more than just yourself, and is about the club more than any of the individuals, then you stand a very good chance to succeed with regards to a collective sort of leadership style.
And finally, as we say goodbye after what has been a fantastic campaign, and thank you so much for your time this evening, Rulani. Just the question of a guard of honor. You guys still have got 4 matches to play. Many people asking you today at the Nedbank Cup press conference about an expected guard of honor from Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah, let's hope we get one. It's not a must, and the club is a club that is well regarded, well respected on the South African football fraternity. But yeah, I think Sundowns has done it before. I think Kaizer Chiefs have done it before, and I don't know why there's so much of a hoo-ha about it. But I would expect one. I think based on not only on history, but also based on the respect and the mutual appreciation that both clubs have for each other.
Well, certainly the most successful South African team in the PSL era, Mamelodi Sundowns, and their co-coach Rulani Mokwena chatting to us after they wrapped up the 2021-2022 DSTV Premiership season. Thanks so much for your time.